My name is Derek Grout. I am a apple farmer and distiller, more of a distiller than an apple farmer. We're at Harvest Spirits in Valencia, New York. We converted this room into a distillery in 2006 when the laws changed to allow small distillers the chance to sell directly to the public with the understanding that they would use primarily New York State grown ingredients. When you have a still, especially back in colonial times, there would be excise taxes levied on you. The first national excise tax to be levied was for distilled spirits, and it sparked the whiskey rebellion in the late 18th century. But if you wanted a jack, all you needed was a barrel, an apple tree, and a means to press it. So it was really common for a farmhouse to have maybe a barrel of cider outside that old grandpa would open up the bung and put a drill or a red hot poker into the center of the barrel to get that higher alcohol out. So if you empty this barrel after it's been frozen, maybe only 1/8 or 1/7 the contents of the barrel would be liquid, and the rest would be mostly water. And you get your thick, syrupy, it's almost like a port. So it goes from 5% alcohol with one freezing up to 10% alcohol. And we're freezing in 5-gallon pails. We're not compromising these barrels. And we also don't have those cold temperatures that they had in colonial times, a little ice age. So we do it in 5-gallon pails. We walk them into the freezer, and the next day we take the frozen hard cider out of the freezer, drill holes in it, tip them upside down in shallow pans, and empty out that more liquid, concentrated hard cider. My grandparents up there in that picture started the apple farm in the late 50s, and they had moved up here during World War II from New York City and started working on various farms and bought this chunk of land. When my dad and mom took it over, I was 2 years old and had 3 older brothers. I was the fourth out of a total 5 boys. And that was in the early 70s. My parents took it over, and my father expanded it and has been running it ever since. So he's the quintessential proprietary farmer it's his way or the highway. He's gracious in so many ways and has encouraged me and allowed me to build this little farm distillery here under the shelter of the farm. We can safely say that we're one of the only places, or at least the only place that I know of, that grows their own raw material base ingredient for vodka production. I'm proud of what I do, and I know my parents are proud of what I do. It's great to be able to find a use for these apples that keeps you here. And the great thing about processing apples by distilling them is that as you put them in barrels, they get more valuable over time. And you can't do that if you make them into pies or donuts or keep them fresh. They cost you money over time. But this is a way of processing them where you can, if you can sell the bottles, you got to sell the product. If you can sell the product, this is a way of processing apples whereby it makes money over time instead of cost you money over time. And that time might stretch longer than my lifetime. There may be barrels that we're putting away here that my son or possibly grandson might crack as a 50-year-old cask. Who knows what will happen to this farm in 50 years. But one thing's for sure is the alcohol, as long as it's in that cask and as long as nobody drops the cask, will stay there, evaporate a little bit year by year, getting better year by year. But it's fantastic. It's almost magical. But there's an aesthetic in here. It smells a certain way. The way the light comes in the morning, this place smells like musty apples and oak and a tinge of sharp alcohol. And it's exciting. And making it is really the best part. You hope that when these barrels are mature, right now we're bottling 2-year-old Applejack, but I'd love to have 5-year or 7-year. Oh my God, 18-year-old Applejack is. I hope by the time I'm an old man, I can have some 18-year-old Applejack that I'm truly proud of. And there's not many things you can make that get better with time like that.